Okay, welcome to my Let's Play of Banished, which is a Shining Rock software title. It's been out for almost 2 years now, maybe a little more than 2 years. It's no combat, zero combat in the game against other humans. However, the goal of the game is to survive the wilderness. You have been banished, your group of people. You can see I've named this starting point Utopia. I have 10 adults, 0 students, and 9 children. So a total of 19 people, which you can see here. And you can see they have a little house icon next to them, meaning they have no home, no place to live. So what happened is they've been banished from their society, wherever they were from. They've started again on this new land, and all they have to start with is a storage barn and a storage area. They've got some firewood, some iron, some logs, and some stone to start with, and some hide coats because temperature does affect the citizens, some iron tools, and potatoes for food. Now, my goal is simply to start a little village of 100 people. I don't want to have, a mega city because it can get repetitive after a certain amount of time. But the goal is to survive the elements, survive the natural disasters. There are fires and tornadoes, and basically build, and make your people comfortable so they don't die. They will die from starvation. They will die from cold. They die of old age. They also marry and have kids. They've got to have housing. And there's different types of housing. You have wood housing, which is basic and will provide some comfort, but requires a lot of wood to keep it warm in the winter. And then you have stone housing, which is much more sturdier, a lot less acceptable to burning, and keeps the heat in the home a lot better in the winter. Requires less wood. So what I'm going to start with is, I'm not an expert. I'm just an old guy playing games. I see this is a pretty good place to start. When I first spawned in, I thought I didn't like the area, but then once I was able to grow out and look, it's a pretty good area to expand into. This is the main river where traders come down once you build a trading dock. And this is actually might even be a better area. We got a spot here for maybe coal or iron, stone. We'll see. Okay, well, what I want to start off with is in the bottom right here. You can see I've got some tools, and top left is just general statistics. Bottom left is an event log. Top right is professions. Of the 10 laborers I have, 9 being children, so they cannot have a job. They'll just run around and do things that children do. I don't have any assigned right now. So I think the first thing I want to do is build. And I got to figure out how this works. Well, we don't want to build, we want to build homes, I suppose. Well, maybe food. All right, let's start out with food being the first resource. And since we're just out in the middle of the wilderness, we're going to start out with gatherers. We're not going to actually attempt to farm at this point. We just want to get some kind of sustained. All right, we're going to start with hunters. We're going to put the hunters. I think hunters would require a lot of forest, right? So we're going to put them down here, right there. Okay, now I'm going to build. That will be for some food, and I'm also going to get a gatherers in the same place. It looks like I would like to know how to. Let me look at the options here. I need to rotate the structure. R and T. Okay. So let's try this again. Because I put down this, as you can see, the hunters area. I'm going to unpause the game for a moment. Put it on speed 2. It's starting to rain. And I am playing with weather effects on. You can see the rain is paused there. may be problematic because the weather may obscure the view of what I'm trying to see here. But at any rate, we've got that we've got that hunter's cabin down. Now I want to put the gatherer's hut. And R, there we go, we'll change it. So let's put it right next to it. Okay, now let's turn time back on at 2 times. See, okay, those people looks like they're gonna start. They're all laborers right now, so they're gonna start down. Let's put them on builders. Put 5 on builder and 5 on laborers, and that looks like that'll work for now. So they're gonna come down and build this. I may have gone too far down. That's a long way for them to walk, isn't it? But in the meantime, I need to get some people cutting down trees. So some woodcutters. And I don't want to chop down the trees where my guys are shooting deer and gathering herbs. So let's put the woodcutter over here. Actually, I'm going to plop him down right there. Okay, now I can build a road. Basic dirt road, which is what I'm going to do. It's going to come all the way over here and connect. Okay. Now these guys will be able to chop wood. Wood is a very important resource in the game. I'm going to speed the time up to 5 by. You see right now their health, they're happy, 5 stars, and their health is average, or 5 stars, average health of citizens, so they're all happy and good to go. They just need housing. What I'm going to do, once we get these areas started, because you've got to have food and you've got to have trees to continue building. I'm going to plop down a couple of simple houses, wooden houses. Now, I want the characters, the people who are going to be gatherers, to live down here. Which means I'm going to put a house right there. And another house on the opposite side of it. That's a place for my hunters to live, and a place for my gatherers to live. Now I'm going to go up here and put down a cabin where the... Actually, I'm going to put on the opposite side of the road. And that'll be where the lumberjacks live. You can see right now it's late spring. Temperature is 78 degrees and it's raining, as you can see on the screen. Now what we have here is the hunting cabin is done. You notice it has a big question mark over it. That means there are no hunters assigned to it. You can see right now it's set for 3 hunters and it's got 0 of 3. So we can set hunters there, or we can go up here and I'm going to set 2 hunters. We'll take one from building and set 2 hunters. And we're going to make this 2 of 2 for now, because I don't have a whole lot of people. But food is definitely a resource. You can see up here that I have 1429 stored food, or see, it's going down as we speak. So we really need to get that food going, which means I'm going to plop down a road right here, and I want it to come down this way. Actually, we want to go right through the middle of town here. what we want to do. And then we want the road to meet. What? Okay, the reserve of stone is low. Okay, well that's to be expected because stone is what the road is made out of. I really can't see where the... I hope that connected. It's very difficult to see. Now, we've got the... We're going to put one woodcutter for now. And that leaves 4 general laborers and 4 builders. And now the gather set. We're going to pull back on builders and leave just 2 builders. We're going to make this 2 of 2 in the gather set. There we go. 86 degrees in summer. We've got to build up. We've got to have a supply of logs, firewood, for the coming winter. These people still don't have homes. Alright, the homes are now completed down here. You see immediately a gatherer and a builder moved in there. And a builder and a hunter moved in here. I prefer that be hunters and gatherers only, but they don't really have much options at this time. Okay. Now there is also they're chopping down wood. Okay, that's a woodcutter, and a forester's lodge is actually what I meant to put down, I suppose. Boom, right there. And we're gonna... Okay, they're gonna start building it immediately. So I should have put the forester's lodge down first and then the woodcutter, because the foresters are the lumberjacks and the woodcutter cuts the chopped wood. If there's no foresters, no lumberjacks cutting down the wood, there's trees, there's no wood for the woodcutter to cut. So that makes sense. That was purely a mistake on my part, which is nothing new when it comes to gaming. Okay, now we saw earlier that we were short on stone. We have 11 stone. And as they're building, they will, for example, you see this roadway here, right? You notice they're gathering stone because they will pick stuff that's, see they're knocking that stone out of the road. Because if I need to build in an area, if I've designated an area to build and there's any resources there, the people will automatically take care of the resources. They'll move them out of the way. Now early on, this is where you get your resources from. See, one of our 9 children has just become an adult. That's 2. Now we've got 12 adults. Oh, and a child was born. Beaver? Bever? Okay. Notice their health is going down because we don't have a good stock of food and we don't have any medicine. Stone is low and logs is low. Logs is really what we want to work on, because that coming winter, well, the firewood is the problem. Okay, we still have 14 people without homes, so now we need to put some homes down, because we want them to have some homes for the winter. And I'm going to, how do I want to do this? I think there is a, okay, I'm looking here at the market. I want to drop a market down right here. And it's autumn, 45 degrees, getting cold. And let's drop some homes next to the market. I'm gonna put them right here. 3 homes right there. Considering 2 people in each home, that's 6. I have 14, so I need to put down probably just a couple more homes because I don't want to overdo it. Okay, there's a couple more homes. And you can make See this here? Increase priority. So I can make these homes. Boy, look at that. I messed that up, didn't I? Need to pause the game for a moment. Because I have it on too fast a speed to do what I need to do. So what we have here, show limits, assign jobs to citizens, remove structure. I need to remove these two because I didn't place them properly. See how they're off one. So remove those two structures. Start time again so that it will take that into effect. Then pause. Put the home down again. Let's try to get these in an even row this time. Okay, now, there we go. Now we want to up the priority, increase priority of all of these homes. You know, that it looks the same, but hopefully that works. Okay, here we go. They just look like they're not in the same line. And they're not, are they? Look, there's winter and they don't have homes. Here I am. I'm going to have to get rid of those two again because they're just not working the way I want them to. So anyway, these homes are prioritized, so they should work on these homes, which means I'm going to pull away from the laborers. Actually, I'm not going to pull away from laborers. I'm just going to leave. Yeah, I'll just make them all builders. They've got to build. They'll be laborers as required. A builder can be a laborer. New child was born. At least the food situation. See, I'm down to half the amount of food I started with. No one here chopping wood. Well, there is, but we've reached our limit already. So we're going to raise the limit to 500. There's no one chopping down trees. So we're going to put one person that is a forester. Okay. We don't have a whole lot of citizens to play with. And you know, they're putting stuff in this storage barn. We started out with it almost full, and now you can see it's only 22% full. We're rapidly running out of food, but we are getting some roots. That's from the gatherer. We are getting some venison. That's possibly from the hunters down here. And there's a way. Okay, see, so far we've got 18 leather and 600 venison. 600 is good, considering this just started. Now from the gatherer's hut, we've already got berries, mushroom, roots, and onions. Excellent. Food. That's what we need. You can see now there's 3. Of course, their child moved in with them when it was born. This icon simply means that there is no trees for the woodcutter to cut yet. You can see we have 0 logs. And that's because I just started up the forester. And it's late winter, so it looks like I'm going to make it through the first winter without anyone dying, which in my opinion is always a plus. And we're up to 26 from 22, so we're adding resources. Food is a big thing. Okay, we're back up from 700 to 900 food. And we need more adults. We need more workers. I don't know why these guys... See, this means they're cold. Okay, they were cold. They're not anymore. The little icon that looked, it's 37 degrees, as you can see. They should start building these houses. Let me up that priority again, just to make sure. Increase priority. Get these houses built. We got some deer down here. And you can follow individuals. It's really hard when they're moving. But you click on that. Click the follow button. Then you can follow that individual, what they do. It says now she's a hunter and she's working. I mean, she's out hunting right now. And you can see some of the mushrooms and stuff that the gatherers can get. See these little mushrooms and onions and stuff on the ground? And you can see she just picked up something. She's going to deposit it back into the storage barn. And you can follow any one of the little people. They're all named. They all have details, and it'll even tell you what they're carrying. Right now she's carrying 6 leather. She is a hunter. So she just shot a deer, skinned it for leather, and she's carrying the leather. At one point she's going to take it into the storage barn. And she doesn't have a home. I'm not exactly sure. We have stone is what our issue is. Ah, it's a shortness of stone is what we're waiting for. So you can increase priority for any particular asset. For example, you can tell them here just to remove resources, which is everything, or you can tell them just to collect iron or just collect stone. In this case, we want to just collect all the stone that's right here because we have a shortage of stone. So stone is going to be priority right now. We've got plenty of iron, but we need stone. You can see we're at 0 stone, and that's what's keeping these houses from being built. And I was pretty sure they're wooden houses. Yep, they are. Okay. Just want to be sure, because again, I make a lot of mistakes. As you can see, they're collecting all the stone from this area, and they'll put it in the storage bin. And right off the bat, they're starting to carry it to the houses. Excellent, excellent. That was the delay. And it looks like there's some more stone. Right here and right here. So let's get all of that. See, in the beginning, you just pick the resources up off the ground, but eventually you're going to have to use these mountains to get iron and stone from, because these resources that are just lying on the ground will be gone. Our log situation is low, and that's because they're taking them to these houses, but at least people have 4 people moved in here. At least they're starting to get some homes done. And in fact, I'm going to make this 2 foresters. So that we can get a steady supply of logs. Yeah, we know the stone is low. We don't have any stone. So what we're going to have to do is just take all the stone. Alright, let's just get everything. See, it marks the little mark where you want them to use a pickaxe and get stone. All these places here. Just want them to get everything, because we got 0 stone, and we need that stone. They've got to have houses. They've already been here a year. We've had several children born. We started out with 15 people. We're up to, it's already early summer. Well, we're 22 people. So we've got 6 come on hand since we started. Zero logs, and firewood is getting low. What will happen is when a house is first built, the people who move in will go and grab all the resources they can and put them in their house. So you can see this has got a lot of firewood, potatoes, roots, mushroom, venison, onions, and berries, and that will last them for a while. And the people who live in that house, for example, Thad, we click on Thad and we follow Thad. He'll go around doing his job, and then when he's hungry, he'll actually go back to his house to eat. And he will consume some of those resources. And then someone will have to gather more resources for the house. It's actually the whole game was made, programmed, marketed, everything by one person. One person did the whole game. And it's a very entertaining, laid back, I guess you could say, like I said, zero combat, but just surviving the wilderness can be a challenge all unto itself. And if you can survive and grow your settlements, that can be very rewarding. Like I said, I'm only going to try to get to 100 because I'm not even positive I can do that. But we're certainly going to give it a try. Now there's only 4 people without a home. If we can get this last home built, and it's only logs for what we're waiting on. And of course we're down to 8 firewood. I think we're going to have to increase the loggers for now all the way up to 4. Because we certainly need to get some logs going. And of course I could tell the people to concentrate on logs. You see they're still gathering stone, which we probably have enough stone right now. So I can tell them to concentrate on trees. We want to clear these trees out right here. So in addition to the foresters over here that are logging trees, all the rest of these workers who are going to take down these trees, and that will get us some logs. Alright, we got another child that's become an adult. That gives us 17 workers right now. And once again, we want to harvest these trees. Don't want to get too much up in here because it's the forester's job. And you can see you can set the forester. I want to get out of that mode. Excuse me. You can see the forester. You can set them to only cut or to only plant. I prefer to leave them the same, both on, because as they chop trees down, they'll then replant it automatically, and that's sustainable. That's what it's all about. Of course, running out of logs. That's why I had them coming up on winter. Got to get that last house built. Only 4 people without a home now. You can see it's really a huge map for what we're doing. I'm going all the way to the bottom left, all the way to the top, and again, scrolling to the right, you can see where my settlement is. So you've got a lot of territory, a huge amount of territory, really. And this is a lot of room. I'm not sure how big. I'm sure you could find YouTube videos of people who've probably got 1,000 people in their communities, but I don't think I can do that. I guess I could if I really wanted to. And this this river that runs right through the middle of everything, that's important because traders can come on that river. You get to a point, like right now I'm out of logs. If I had a trader station here on the river, traders would come down the river and stop, and eventually one of them would bring me logs. And I've had excess in something else, for example stone, which you can see now I have 200 of. I could sell it or trade it. Okay, now my market is up. Now I'm going to put 2 people in the market for now. And what the market does is they'll go to the storage places, pick up the product, and bring them to the market, which means all the people, this is a central location to pick up your stuff. If you live right here and you need some food, you don't have to go all the way down here to get food, or you don't have to walk over here to get food. You can just walk straight across the street to the market. Alright, food is low and tools is low. That's understandable. We've got 19 workers now, 2 laborers, 6 builders. That might be... Alright, we have nothing to build at the moment, so 6 builders is plenty. They'll just become laborers if they need to, as required. Still got 3 people without a home. Alright, so let's drop down 1 more home here. Right there. And since that's the only thing to build right now, look at there, 92% full and 4% full, because they're moving everything over here. See, they're adding it all to the market, and that's what we want them to do. Winter, early winter, and my reserve of logs or firewood is low. But it looks like these homes probably have some firewood stocked in them. And they do. This one looks like it may be built here in just a moment. Alright, now we've got some logs coming up. So hopefully the woodcutter will chop some fuel first. Some firewood is low. What else is new? All we need is that last home to be built. And I may build another home depending on how many people move into this. Alright, so that's 2 people without a home. Which means I am going to build one more home because you've got to have people. Right there. See, they're cold. That means they don't have firewood. Nothing in their home yet because it was just completed. The residents have to go and pick up firewood, and we're at 0 firewood. Alright, so I'm going to drop this to 2 builders. I'm going to increase this to 4. Well, we're already at max. We're getting firewood as quickly as we can. Near capacity. Yep, I understand that. Then we'll increase this to 3 of 3. We want them to move assets from the stockpile and the storage barn into the market. And in the meantime, I'm going to put a storage barn down here. Actually, we're going to put it right here. That's good. That way these guys here don't have to walk all the way up here to store stuff. All they have to do is walk to here to store it, and then the people that are working in the market will come down and pick it up, and these guys can get right back to getting more food and product. Alright, so we're up 26 people. Logs, stone, and iron near capacity. Well, that's good. That's fine. I'm going to tell them to increase priority of this structure right here. We want it to be #1 priority right now. Food, we're running out of food. Okay, let's slow the game speed down to 1 by. We're going to put a fishing wharf. Right. Well, I'm going to have to put it right here, but there's sure very inefficient as they're. That's a shame. Not a lot of area to fish in. You know, I'd like to be sitting next to a big lake like here, you see. If we could put it out here, it'd be a lot more fishing area. But we're not next to it. Well, we are, but they have to walk clear around this mountain range, and we don't want to do that. So I'm going to start them out just right here. Just do the best they can. Right there. And we'll give them a little road. Okay. Now let's put the speed back up to 5 by. We're out of food. We're totally out of food. That's because they've all taken it and stored it in their homes. That usually happens right off the get-go. But I now need to look at farming. Do I have anything that I can... I may not have any seeds because you have to have certain type, you have to have seeds available, you see, to plant stuff. And I don't know that I have any. Alright, well, this has been a very auspicious start, I suppose. We've got another child born. We're up to 28 people. But we're out of food. We're out of firewood. We're out of coal. Of course, we never had any to start with. And We don't have any medicine, so I think that I'll pick it up later if I'm of a mind to. Thank you for watching. If you have any questions, comments, concerns, or just want to call me an idiot, post below, and I always read and answer everything. Ciao.